Holy,
What up?
I guess we're live, huh, bud?
We gotta fix the ending of that intro. Doesn't even give you the whole sports box. Looks like that's what it was going to read along the bottom. Well,
Yeah, I know. But what are we gonna do? We can't control everything in this place. So what's up? You gonna kick off the intro or what? I know it's an exciting day in NBA land.
yeah. I mean, as always, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully, you guys stay on watching games with us tonight. Obviously, along with myself and Tony Quigley, we are Baseline Jumper. I mean, it's been a wild week again in the NBA world, so we should have plenty to talk about. I mean, do we even go into these sponsors anymore? Do we have sponsors anymore? I know it's crowd play.
You always got to buy with Byrne, even though Byrne isn't allowed to come out the house. He's afraid of people, but you always got to buy with Byrne. That's number one. But you know what? Listen, it's yeah, it'd be nice to try to do a show without people trying to text me to tell me how to run the fucking thing that you should be running anyway. Fucking dickhead. Yeah, now he's blaming me. Fucking retard. Fucking retard. Anyway, Paulie,
we are live.
How you been? We recovered from last night or what?
Yeah. I mean, as I said last week, I think that's the best 8 seed to ever play in the NBA playoffs as an 8 seed. If you're going right into the Lakers,
the New York Knicks actually made it to the NBA championship as an 8 seed.
Nah, listen.
And then it was like 97, 98, something like that. So it's a different environment, though.
Would smoke them.
Well, I'm about to leave the fucking show right now.
What, that Portland team? I mean, that's got to be
the Portland team is going to be a team that made it to the NBA Finals.
Yeah. I think that. I mean, that's my opinion. Am I not entitled to one?
You're absolutely entitled to one.
That Portland team,
just because they beat a Lakers team that had never won anything, that Portland team can beat the championship team that went to the NBA Finals.
I'm just saying that's the best 8th seed team probably ever to play in the NBA playoffs as an 8 seed. If you go back to all the other 8 seeds, some of them might have had a crazy nice run.
Listen, they're going to have
a couple lucky.
Before you start talking out ridiculousness, you need to have them at least win the series. They have to beat a 1 seed. 8 seed beats 1 seed.
I don't think they have to win a game. I'm just saying I think that's the best team to be in the playoffs as an 8 seed. I'm not saying that they're going to win everything. I'm just saying that I think that's the best.
So, but what do you base on that? Well, don't you base? Shouldn't you say
the team? I mean, like we talked about this last week. I don't think that they would be. They're not an 8 seed in the West. They're probably a 2 seed in the East. In the East, they're probably a 2 seed. In the West, it's not a Bud Light. I know that. I mean, in the West, we figured what they would go up to like a 6, maybe. West is that stacked, but like I said, they had Nurkic out the entire year, Collins out the entire year. They fought their way into an 8 seed with their team fully healthy. They're not. I mean, I'm just saying the actual team and the players. I mean, Dame time, McCollum. If he's still a little banged up, but I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not proving it off of what they may do. I'm just saying I think that's the best team to play in the NBA playoffs as an 8 seed. Clearly, we saw that last night. They did go out and they beat the number 1 seed Lakers. Which playoffs is all about adjustments. I don't think that they're necessarily on their way for a sweep, but I mean, Lakers have some picking up to do. Their shooting is absolutely horrid.
Yeah, I mean they shot. Listen, that fourth quarter was an embarrassment for the Lakers on a couple fronts. The number one thing I think is how LeBron and Anthony Davis disappeared completely down the stretch. LeBron had a good game in the first half. He almost had a triple-double at halftime, and he was really controlling it. And but once Portland started hitting the shots, LeBron didn't have any answers for him. AD didn't have any answers for him. You know who had the answer was Caruso, Kuzma, Danny Green, and KCP. They're ones that were taking the shots down the stretch, and that's absolutely ridiculous. They were horrible.
KCP had 29 minutes of gameplay or 27 minutes of gameplay and 2 points.
So there was that stretch there that was like Dame hit 2 like 30-footers, McCullough hit 1, Melo hit a nice 3, Gary Trent Jr. hit a nice 3, and then you got on the other end of the court, instead of LeBron and Anthony Davis trying to take over to match them guys, you got friggin' Caruso throwing up runners, and you got it's like what are you doing?
Yeah, no, it didn't look pretty for him. Like I said, I mean, playoffs all about adjustments. They're gonna
come in hot,
Oh, sure.
They've been playing They've been playing playoff games since they got into the bubble. Really?
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
It's like the Lakers came in 3-4. What were they? 3-5 in the bubble, something like that.
But they had nothing to play for. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
You have a team game for everything. And you got the flat.
Once they won their first or number 1 seed, they didn't really have anything to fucking Neto under the rim looking like there you go, Embiid.
Listen, Joe
Embiid, another bucket.
The thing there, if you look at that play right there, I don't know if you saw the whole play. After Joel sets the pick, he's completely lost on what to do. That's bad, man. That's that basketball IQ. The guy has so much talent, he just doesn't know how to play the game yet.
Well, right. That's what was pissing me off. And people like, oh, he can't play with Simmons. Well, now Simmons isn't here, and he's still running around like
he just doesn't have that. He has all the natural ability, athletic ability in the world, and he just doesn't know how to play the game.
This is also his 8th year of playing basketball in his life.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's so immature. He's so inexperienced. He's immature emotionally a little bit. Things don't go his way. He pouts. I mean, he reminds me of some of the 14-year-olds and that you coach sometimes, and it's a shame. Shane, real quick. Hold on. I'm rocking the bowl and Muggsy, the new bowl and Muggsy in honor of the Denver game today. What do you got on? I know you always bring some. Come on. What do you got?
Tommy Bahama T.
You're not bringing the heat tonight? Killing me. Anyway,
something very subtle tonight. Just old tape.
Exactly. So I mean, listen, Portland last night had a nice win over LA. Then you had the comments from LeBron after the game. What did you think about them in regards to him kind of using the bubble as an excuse?
Honestly, the comments that I saw after the game with LeBron were, I think I was kind of like in and out on the first part of the question. By the time I caught wind of everything that was being talked about, they were asking about his hat. So if you can actually explain to me what he was saying about the bubble, because I think that'd be
yeah. So I mean, pretty much he was saying that the bubble was like one of the hardest things he ever did in his life. There's nothing to do here except play basketball. It's not a natural situation. He pretty much was saying how trying the bubble has been to him, comparing it to prison at one point. Completely shocking after you have a loss like that. I mean, it's
I didn't hear that, but I mean, he is. So this brings up, we didn't even mention it a couple weeks ago. JJ Redick was on one of the shows, and they were asking about like the living conditions. And he was pissed off that he's a 15, 16-year vet in the league, and he got put in a little boxed-in room, no windows, and absolutely nothing. And then you look at other players, pretty much who he said, like if you're bringing money in, LeBron, oh, golly. Tatum just hits a fucking 40-footer to save the shot clock. But, I mean, LeBron's probably in the Grand Floridian, King Suite.
I stayed at the Grand Floridian. I mean,
whatever. Right, but I'm saying whatever hotel they're in. Listen, LeBron James is not staying in a 10-by-10 room.
No.
He's probably staying in the best room in the entire bubble. I think we could say that. I mean, granted, he's earned it, but I think for him to say that it's like a prison. I mean, they got golf courses, they got pools.
Well, our buddy, our friend of the show's down there.
What's
You
that?
know, our buddy, our friend of the show, is in the bubble right now, Joey Fitch. You know,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and Fitch is down there, and he's living that bubble life. I mean, listen, he's a young kid. He's not he's not one of these millionaire athletes. He's just down there working his butt off, trying to make something of himself. And you got a guy like LeBron James complaining about it. Like he's done a lot of stuff for the community and the youth and the organization, LeBron. But
Sure.
why don't you take a look around from where he came from? You know what I'm saying? To make comments like that.
No, I agree, and that's what I said. I don't think. I mean, they have whatever the fuck they want to do there. They can do. I mean, there's everything. They have everything. Golf, like I said, pools, restaurants. They have everything there. I don't know if there's necessarily restaurants, but whatever the hell there is, and like I said, he has the absolute best room. Yeah, no shit. Jordan wouldn't complain about the bubble because in the 90s, we probably wouldn't have went into a pandemic like this 2020 PC world that we live in today.
Snowflake land. We're in the land of snowflakes. That's what we're in. It's kind of funny, but it's a crazy situation in the country. But listen, I do bring this up real quick. His comment, not really about the bubble, but because a lot of guys have bring. Paul Pierce today had some comments about, if LeBron drops this series against Portland, I mean, they're talking about not even putting him in the top 5 anymore, which I don't agree with. He's definitely top 5 no matter what he does in his career.
Paul
But
Pierce,
I mean, do you think this would be if he loses this Portland series, it would be such a stain on his legacy?
no, not at all. I mean, one, you just have the easy asterisk of everything that's went on, but that's a cop out. I think it's actually, well, no, I said it's not. I don't think it's a cop out. I think it's actually harder this year to go out and win, being that you just got cut halfway through the season and then put into a completely unfamiliar situation and whatever they're doing. So I do, to an extent, agree that it is harder for them. But I don't think that they're living in prison-like conditions. Granted, you can't leave a bubble that probably has 50 acres in it. So
he probably thought he was in a prison because him and Anthony Davis missed him 4 foul shots in a row. That would have been a little bit different. So he was probably feeling it last night. So who else was who was in big time issue yesterday was Giannis. That fourth quarter he had and the Bucks losing that game. Wow. I mean, 1 point in the fourth quarter.
Par for the course for the Bucks in the playoffs.
Well, they normally don't flake out to the second round though.
Right.
So, I mean, his performance was I mean, he had 31 points and he had 30 going into the fourth quarter. And they cut the lead to, I think it was 6 or 8 points. And then once Giannis, that's when these guys have to take over. That's, you're looking at, that's where, titles are won. That's when games are won in the fourth quarter, especially in the NBA.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. A lot of these guys, you're starting to see it. Embiid started off, what was it? 2 nights ago? At 11 in the first, shot 15 times, whatever he did, and then barely shot the rest of the game.
Yeah.
It's like you got to start strong, finish strong.
Yeah,
I mean, you saw it with the Lakers last night. LeBron and AD didn't show up in the fourth. Some may say that's LeBron's MO somehow, but
I think he shredded that stigma, but the detractors will actually bring that to attention all the time.
That's another thing that Meads brought up. Markelle Fultz out there balling out. I'm in about 14 different group chats, and at one point through the entire Orlando game, I just got somebody in this one something about if Markelle Fultz does this, I'm killing this guy, or Markelle Fultz is going to be this, and he's got people talking about him again, which is good. Oh my God, Embiid just looks like an absolute sloppy pig with whatever that move was. Now he's holding
15 of the 15.
You got the live look in here. You got the live look set up.
Yeah, we could go to a live look if you want to.
I hope it's that delayed where we can go back and watch how ridiculous that just looked, because they're going to show another replay of it.
Yeah,
it's like he's like slipping.
He's out
trying to Euro and slow motion. It doesn't look that bad, but holy hell, that's
yeah. So we'll look at it here right now, guys. We got the live look. So you got Embiid coming through. I mean, he's just what's he throw 4 of them into Inez Cancer? I mean, it's one of them things where you're like, wow.
In slow mo, it doesn't look half as bad.
No, and I don't even think he hit his head. He's dramatic, I mean, but with 16 points in going to second. This is if the Philadelphia Sixers want to win, this is what they have to do. They have to feed Embiid, and then once he learns how to pass out of a double team, if he's managed to pass out of a double team, he needs to be able to, we're going to boo these Boston fans. We're booing these Boston fans that are on there. But once Embiid, guys we got to play big money like Tobias Harris has to knock down a 3.
Yeah, who was Meads talking about? Embiid that has 11?
No, Embiid has 16 right now. 17, I believe. Did he make that one?
I don't know how long ago Meads sent this. He said he has 11 tonight too. Maybe he was talking about.
Yeah, sometimes the comments are delayed, so you're able to on our end. So sometimes we don't see them in real time. But I'm relaying that. So I'm gonna tell you right now, my prop bets are looking phenomenal right here with Tatum and Embiid as my primary players. It's pretty.
What was it? Embiid over 40 at plus 900. Now, what do you put on these? $5? I mean, I saw you sent the one. It was like plus 800. I mean, does that bring him back? What do you put on them?
I can't say that on air, buddy, but it's not huge. 25.
Yeah, right. All right. Yeah, I wanted to make sure. I wanted to make sure it was like worth your while and not.
Well, listen, I
got kids that send me screenshots. It's like, oh, it's plus 1,200, and they're putting $4 on it. I'm like, well, what are you doing? I'd be upset if I won that. If I won something with that much odds and I had less than 20, maybe 25 on it, I'd be upset.
Well, the reason why it's so odd is it's kind of like what the fuck. Like I had Luka over 40. Now I don't know, I use DraftKings and I use FanDuel. So one things I like about FanDuel is you could do the adjusted odds on the points. So you're on FanDuel, you're able to bet. So right now I got Embiid at over 34.5, and I think it was like plus 350, and then I got Embiid over 39.5 at plus 1,200. So
yeah, he's over 38.5 right now. His live look-in, he's over 38.5 at minus 140.
Exactly. So you got that's the way I really think. Like like the over unders and stuff like that. Like guys like Dame, who goes off. Guys like James Harden, who's been going off. If you think they're going to have a good game, like Tatum tonight, the Sixers can't guard the wing at all. You want to take them adjusted odds and and kind of do a little incremental. So sure. I got 50 on over 35. I got 50 on over 34.5, and then 25 on plus 120. Plus 1,200. So you're looking at, even if he gets 35, I'm winning on that. So I hit the LeBron triple double last night, but that was only plus 250. So that shows you that they were expecting LeBron to kill it. Luka plus 3
out of him, huh?
What's that?
I said, what a stat line out of him, right?
Yeah, but listen, at the end of the day, it's still 0-1. So we'll have to see what happens with that.
And I just threw in Sixers first half winner plus 250. That'll probably lose.
Sixers first half winner plus 250. Yeah, they're at commercial now. So well, we have halftime.
Where'd it go? Didn't put it in. Oh yeah, it did. All right, cool. Game on.
Game on. So yeah, well, I mean,
so obviously we got a Lucas plus 310 on a triple double tonight. Did he have a triple double the last game?
Who?
Luka?
I don't believe
they said he was going to be maybe the only player to ever debut with a triple double.
He had 40. Was he? Did he have a triple double? Shit, I forget. He was one of the youngest. Let me pull it up right here.
Well, he
had 42, 7, and 9.
Yeah.
He didn't have a triple double. I didn't think he did.
Well, they were talking about it early, and
listen, does our former producer and the cocksucking Ranger text you and complain about the show while we're in the middle of it?
What's he saying?
He's complaining about the intros still because he's like, "Oh, you must have hit a button or something." Like, are you serious? Like, get over it. Fucking clown.
Fix our fucking intro.
You know what I'm saying? Fuck. Anyway, man.
Sorry
So
for
listen,
the French.
yeah, listen.
I mean, we've talked about
series,
a couple of these games, though, Tony.
Say that again.
I said we've talked about a couple of these games, and I don't think we talked about probably the best game that I've seen, maybe in the bubble. Besides some of the, I don't know, Dame had a couple late ones, but they were playoffs. That Jazz Denver game 1 to start off the whole shebang with the playoff. I mean, did you watch that? That was the 1:30 game on Tuesday. Am I correct? Or Monday, right?
These day games, I've watched every game. I've watched pretty much every game that they've been on TV because it's a beautiful thing, man. It's like March Madness.
Friday,
game starting at 1
Monday,
o'clock.
Started off Utah and Denver 1:30, and they gave you an absolute fucking banger to watch.
Beautiful to watch. But the problem is, I just got done watching Utah blow them out.
Yeah, I had Utah.
That's what I'm saying. Like recency bias.
That game's going 7. That series is going 7. They're going to play tough ones, blowout, tough one. They're going to have game 7. I'm calling it now. Donovan Mitchell game winner, and that's it. I wish I could bet that.
Later, huh? I'm sure there's somewhere that could bet it. Listen, somebody out there will take it.
Dude, he's been on fire. Murray had a slip-up game today, I believe. I was like kind of watching it and playing cold. Dude,
with Murray and Joker running the pick and roll in that game 1 was something to watch.
They have crazy good chemistry, and you can just tell off of it. I mean, Murray stopped giving it up, but then you watch that whole game or the whole fourth quarter. Murray sitting there, run off the pick, step back, 17-foot jumper, wet. Same thing, come down, same thing. About 4 times in a row. Then it comes down to the last possession of the game, and he does it. He comes off it, same thing, stops, hesitates, throws some like crazy wraparound bounce pass behind the guy to Nurkic, who doesn't get a terrible look on Gobert, but defensive player of the year. Gobert almost goes up, stops, comes back, gets another good contest, and it's like, don't pass that shot up, Murray. You just put up about 16 in the fourth, and
he was everything in the fourth.
Yeah,
but it was today's game.
That last shot. Take the last shot.
Game was a little weird, though. Today's game was a little weird because I don't think too many offensively. Porter Jr. didn't. He started out slow, but then he went on a tear. Jokic was solid. So Murray had 14, but he didn't shoot much.
Yeah, Porter actually he started out with 2 quick threes and then just went nowhere.
Right, exactly. But then here's the problem with Denver: they played no defense. That the rest of the game they played no defense, so it's kind of like they kind of went through the motions a little bit. And the Jazz. Listen, I think
you're talking about today's game.
I'm talking about today's game. I can't talk about Friday's game when there was already a game. I mean, listen, you're only the last game, right? The one thing about Utah though I like is when Ingles is out there with the ball in his hands, it seems like they're just a better offense than when Conley's out there running. Now they're saying that they're happy that Conley's coming back. But when Ingles is just out there being a facilitator, he's one of these players that kind of just is going to make the right pass, not going to try to defend.
No, absolutely. That's what I was going to say. Not too often that you're going to take Mike Conley out of your starting point guard position and get better. But I do think putting the ball in Donovan Mitchell's hands a lot more makes them a little bit better of a team. And I mean, when is Conley come back?
He's supposed to come back, I believe, for the next game. So,
J-Rock, Jeremy Beland, Tatum is destroying them Sixers again. Seriously, Markelle Fultz over him, worst pick ever.
Markelle Fultz and a number 1 draft pick. Don't forget that they gave up a number 1 draft pick for him and the number 3 pick to go up and take Markelle Fultz. Jeremy.
J-Rock, I do think
it might be the smartest thing, the most accurate thing Jeremy said, But he's actually the worst pick ever. Was probably
Joel.
So
It's still so ugly in the like, but nice move. As Embiid throws in a little reverse layup to put me a little step closer to winning. Jeremy, I don't think he should really worry about Sixers. Obviously, his Clippers are playing some pretty good basketball. Who also have
this is what he's been waiting for, right? Since he's been a fan of Lob City, the Clippers. Finally have a team that is supposed to get it into the finals. So it'll be sure Clippers fans everywhere happy.
Completely opposite of Lob City. Now they're just like slow it down, wear you out, and I mean that's kind of exactly what they did to Dallas.
So who do you like in that game tonight? Since we can't, prediction wise, the line dropped a little bit.
I mean, I'm probably going to go Clippers again. I think Clippers might actually blow them out. I
don't think Dallas defensively has enough to stop. I mean, when you have Kawhi and Paul George, Luka's out there. Luka doesn't play defense, and he's out there.
That's what I was going to say. I didn't realize how poorly he actually was at defense. That's us. He's a pretty bad defender.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. Like Emilia brought it up earlier. He's always flirting with a triple double.
So is Russell Westbrook.
And the thing is with Luka though is I believe in the first quarter he almost had 5 turnovers. So he's still. I mean, he's going to do a lot of great things, and he has he has a flash to him. He has a great feel for the game. He defensive on the defensive end. He's not there. And he almost had a triple double. He almost had a quadruple double. I looked it up now. He had 11 turnovers.
Yeah.
Now, you take a guy like Luka. He gets a pass for 11 turnovers. Some people criticize it. Some people kind of overlook it because he has 42 points. You take a guy like Ben Simmons when he was out there. I mean, the city of Philadelphia would absolutely be toasting him even if he had 42 and a triple double. If he had 11 turnovers, half the city would be trying to burn down his house.
Oh yeah,
but it seems like with Luka with the 11 turnovers, and play defense. That he's a young player, he's an exciting player, but that's what separates a guy from like Kawhi with a championship pedigree, a guy like LeBron, who and the other guys who actually won rings is they have that development. Yeah.
No, I agree.
Speaking of Luka, I mean, how bad did the Kings have to feel right now?
The Kings?
Oh, they passed on Luka.
Passing up on them? Yeah, I mean,
because they passed on Luka because Vlade Divac didn't like Luka's dad, so they passed on him.
Right. Yeah.
Which is the most ridiculous thing ever. And now they got rid of Vlade Divac, so it's
But they got De'Aaron Fox. That's my guy.
No, that was the Bagley. That was the Bagley pick, Marvin Bagley.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Yeah, so it was different. We'll do another live look here. We'll see catch up.
Just turnovers. Marcus Smart bullying fucking Shake Milton.
The Marcus Smart thing is interesting because I'm going to see what happens with him and Embiid. Him and Embiid are he's going to be irritant under Embiid's skin eventually in this series, and I want to see really if Embiid matures enough so he's not going to follow the same mistakes that he would have in the past, and if he can actually keep his level of wits about him, so he doesn't
follow your shot, box out, fucking guys.
Yeah, so we're a little bit slow on the stream here, but that's just nature.
Yeah, you'll see it here. Follow your shot, box out.
Wow,
they don't do it either.
Alec Burke, clueless. Milton was on the other side of the rim. Stupid. I mean, that's one of the things that. Listen, we're in the area where we're Sixers fans and everything like that. I think people don't realize how clueless. Not just Embiid is, as far as Embiid's young, but I don't think there's a very smart basketball IQ on anybody on this team, except Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons definitely has a high basketball IQ, but the rest of the team, Josh Richardson can't run the pick and roll. He just puts his head down, as you just saw a few moments ago. Poor entry passes. They don't give people the ball in the right spots.
Kemba. I don't. All right, that's a loss. That ended quickly. Other news: Jeremy loves how Richardson is shooting at will.
This is my comment right here. If they're going to lose to the Celtics in this series, which is a great possibility without Ben Simmons, this is the best comment. That's the best thing. It is a silver lining. Is Brett Brown? There's no excuse for Brett Brown to be in Philadelphia next year. So, that would be a silver lining. I mean, are you ready to pack Brown's bags or what?
Yeah. I mean, I think he's been long overdue to still be coaching. And like I said, I mean, he had his shot with the process. He's had the years. I mean, granted, injuries and shit like that, but when they're all there, it's just like you tell the media at one point, all right, Ben needs to start shooting threes, and I'm going to make sure that he starts shooting threes. I mean, you can't publicly come out and tell the world what you want your players to do, and then them specifically not do that thing over and over again. And I think Meads hit it right on the button. I mean, he's not a motivator. He doesn't. Like I said, I think he lost the locker room a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he's done with the locker room. I mean, listen. I mean, we're watching the Indiana series and the Miami series, and we're watching Jimmy Butler out there lead a team of young players, looking good doing it. But the Sixers ownership decided to keep Brett Brown over Jimmy Butler.
Stupid. I said that that'll hurt them. We lose Jimmy Butler, you're in some big trouble. And like I said, I mean, we got people calling for fucking Embiid and Simmons to get traded and get rid of them. And I don't know if Sixers are just in shambles. It's not good. They probably get swept. Are we frozen here? Unless you're just making that face. Well, if anybody can't hear Tony, because I think he is, I believe he's frozen. I don't want to say I'm frozen. Hopefully he comes back soon. Let's see what he said. Zachary Mole, will the Knicks make a move this offseason? I mean, I don't think the Knicks have made a move really ever. I don't think anybody wants to go to the Knicks. I think it's too tough of a environment for a lot of these kids. But, I mean, the Knicks have to make a move. They thought Kevin Durant was their move. He wanted no parts of it. He went to the ugly stepchild in Brooklyn, who probably next year is going to come out and ball out. But let's see. Can they fire Brown during the game? Tom, I wish they could fire Brown during the game, because if so, they should have did that shit at halftime of last game when I said Embiid had about 11 points in the first and then somehow did absolutely nothing the entire next quarter and completely just fell off to the earth. And that's like, oh, Tony, welcome back. It's like, what? Like, why aren't you out there fucking making shit? Embiid should have had 25 at half of game one.
Here's the thing. Like I had people come at me a little bit saying that Embiid in the fourth quarter didn't want the ball because, but the fact is he didn't get the ball for like a good 6-minute stretch. I think John Hollinger had a tweet that kind of had a breakdown of how far it was he hadn't bit the ball. People like, oh, he wasn't trying for the ball. I said, listen. I said, Josh Richardson had more shot attempts than him in the game. Tobias Harris, these guys. He only had 7 shot attempts in the first half. So after he had a dominant first quarter last game, and then he only gets the ball for seven shots in the first half. So that had nothing to do with it. Now, here's the other thing. He's out of shape. All right, here's the thing about it. And once Embiid gets cooking like that, and then for them to go away from him in the second quarter, Brown should have been fired at halftime. I would have, hey, the assistant would have came out, and who went 8-0 in the bubble, right? Phoenix Suns. Monty Williams, my man, Monty Williams went. He goes 8-0 in the bubble, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a tough shake. You go out there, you win every game. Every game you're allotted to play. I don't think
you should be coaching the Sixers right now, buddy.
No, I'm saying with the whole bubble, and that playoff game should have been. They should have took all the team from 8 and down. That if you couldn't jump up to 7, you all should have been in a playoff to get into that 8 seed. And Memphis Pelicans, they had no part of playing in a playing game from what they did in the bubble.
Jaren Jackson Jr. gets hurt, so you have to give him a little bit of leeway there.
Sure. But, granted, there was a whole season that they had to do this, but I would have liked to see Devin Booker, Damian Lillard playing for the
It would have been fun.
That's your playing game if you're going off of
DeAndre Ayton, too. Listen, DeAndre Ayton is a player. He's been playing good. Cam Johnson's been playing good. Listen, they the Phoenix Suns look really good. Some of the young players are developing, unlike the Sixers' young players. So that's what brings me to the point with the whole Monty Williams thing is there's no way they should have let Monty Williams get out of Philly when you had this lame duck Brett Brown coaching. Their offense is completely predictable. They've been making bad situations, and Embiid, and Embiid, people are saying he's out of shape. He sucks when a little bit. I think Embiid's problem is that, he obviously anybody his size and everything like that, they're going to get tired. He does get tired a little bit, but he does not. Out of shape is his problem. He gets frustrated. Once he gets frustrated, he gets down on himself. Is he about? He's in good enough shape to play 4 quarters and bust people's asses. It's the mental thing I think that has to do with it too. But he did let us down in last year's playoffs against Toronto. So you're looking at a guy who has a little bit gut check time. I think
he's let us down every playoff series they've played in.
Well, let's hopefully don't let us down tonight.
When was the stomach ache?
Last year against
Toronto?
Yeah, against Toronto. Missed game 4 and 5, wasn't it? I think it was 4 and 5. Yeah. So, there it is. And Meads brings up Bridges too, Mikal Bridges. That's not the player I wanted. The player I wanted was in Denver. At the 10 pick, they should have sat there and they should have took Michael Porter Jr. What coach would you want to couch? Would I want to see in Philly? Something comfortable, J-Rock. I'd like to see something comfortable with a soft back.
Leather, maybe a recliner like this one.
I can't do leather because if I do a leather couch, it's just not comfortable. I like that nice soft.
No, leather is comfortable. They're not meant to sleep on though.
That's what I'm saying. But I'm always falling asleep on the couch. So
you can't do that. You can't sleep on a leather couch.
Yeah, exactly. That's not my motto. But so listen, it's the replacement for Brett Brown. It's no easy answer. A guy that I do not like as Paulie hits that crack pipe. What rocks you smoking now, Paulie?
I am not smoking. I was looking at
you on that ready, Paulie? Come on, let's see what's in the pipe. Okay. No, a guy that I personally do not like, but think he would be a good fit to come in and help Ben Simmons would be Jason Kidd. Similar play style, especially when they're young. Jason Kidd couldn't shoot a lick when he came in. He was called Asen Kidd. So he could help him develop. I think that would be good for Simmons to come in. Has a little respect. So,
Mark Scotty, there you go. There's a great question for you. Is the process broken over?
As Paul Bong rips, I'll take it first. Listen, the process. A lot of people had had the process. The process was over when the Sixers were forced by the NBA to get rid of Sam Hinkie. So as soon as Sam Hinkie was forced out of the process, and they brought in Brian Colangelo and they kind of interjected, that's kind of technically the process was over. Because once the process was the vision of Sam Hinkie, so once they get rid of him, it's kind of say you can't kind of continue the process. Like the process is a great saying, it's a great motto. It's been adopted through all kinds of different realms. You see it in motivational things and stuff like that. But as soon as Hinkie left, and Brian Colangelo was forced to take over Sixers operations, which was a total flame out. It was a joke. And then they were left with a lame duck. So I mean, if you kind of break it down, like I said, the process was over when Sam Hinkie was forced out.
But I mean, like, all right, so they were still, the process and the guys were still there without Hinkie.
No, that's
I mean, listen, your process was built around Ben and Embiid.
No, the process, the inception of the process was brought to you because one, Billy King left a team with horrible contracts and bad players for those contracts.
Right. But your process,
and no superstars.
Your process was Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons.
No.
By the time the process became its thing, Nerlens Noel was gone. Ja was
okay. Well, maybe to the layman that's when they kind of try to understand what the process was doing. But when Sam Hinkie had two goals, it was to shed salary cap and acquire two superstars or three superstars. And I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. His goal was to acquire as many assets until you're able to find your superstar players. Now, I didn't like every move that Hinkie made, but you gotta understand, ownership didn't allow him to draft Porzingis. That's who he wanted, and they went up to take Okafor, so that was a bust.
Yeah, Porzingis, that would have been great.
Yeah, exactly. So it's tough to say, you have an idea, and he had this really good idea, and then it wasn't allowed to be to fruition. So it's really a shame because if you track how the Sixers went with once Hinkie left, they brought in Brian Colangelo, and he was the orchestrator of the Markelle Fultz thing. And the reason why he was able to trade an additional draft pick for Fultz is because Hinkie acquired it, which was a huge mistake, obviously.
Markelle Fultz would be a pretty good fucking addition to this team.
Well, absolutely. I mean, and then if you look at once they had it, Colangelo had a burner Twitter account. I mean, it was an absolute joke what happened with him.
Sure.
So I mean, that was an embarrassment to the entire city. And then he leaves with this whole dumpster fire, and then they make Brett Brown the interim GM. And then what's Brett Brown do? Doesn't do a good job as interim GM. And then you bring in an inexperienced, a well-respected guy around the league in Elton Brand, but he's very inexperienced about a GM. And he made bad signing with Tobias Harris, which they were almost forced into because of the whole debacle with what they gave up to get him. And then they let Jimmy Butler go because he was, like we mentioned earlier. I mean,
Tobias Harris. I think the team that we had last year.
Mm-hmm.
We're better off with the team that we had last year without Richardson, without Horford, and a different head coach.
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, if you could have kept Tobias Harris with Jimmy Butler and brought in another coach, I mean, that's absolutely a better team.
Or just keep Monty Williams.
Well, they would have had to keep Monty Williams. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean,
stay in the system. You could have had everybody in your system that was there at one point. You could have had and just got rid of one piece.
So, who do you think who's making these decisions, though, Paul? Who do you think?
I mean, I don't know. What do you think? It's Brett Brown? I think it's Elton Brand, or was Elton Brand.
No. Those decisions to fire. To keep Brett Brown. I mean, actually, Brett Brown actually has more power than Elton Brand. It's a little weird because I think he has the title of president of basketball operations, but it's really Josh Harris and the ownership group. They're keeping Brett Brown because he's a yes man, So you're looking at it where you had this yes man in place, the ownership. I don't know if they really truly are committed. I mean, these guys have all kinds of different interests. They're trying to buy the Devils. They're trying to buy, other interests. Michael Rubin's out there with Meek Mill doing his thing, so it's I don't think they're fully committed to actually making this a better product.
I don't think Michael Rubin. I mean, he's, like I said, he's just the owner. He's not. He's a partner. he's got a lot of other shit going on than
Yeah,
worrying
he's a
about.
smart businessman, though. I mean, you got to really respect him on that aspect of it. And he doesn't have too much say in what goes on in the Sixers. But he does have a voice that a lot more people hear than they say Josh Harris. So if people that are involved in the ownership group want to actually make this a better team and a better product, they would have sacrificed Brett Brown a long time ago. You do not hire a coach to tank. You know,
They're selling tickets.
mm-hmm.
They're selling jerseys.
Yep.
That's what the owners want. They want people in the seats. They want sponsors. They want endorsements, and they want playoff basketball, which we give them. We give them the extra bonus of possibly going to the Eastern Conference Finals and the finals. So I think the owners, if you're sitting in that bubble with the ownership, I don't think ownership really truly cares. Besides maybe Mark Cuban.
Well, Cuban. I mean, there are some owners that care.
Jerry Jones, I do. He's an owner who I think truly wants to win.
Yeah.
I
mean,
a lot of the guys, they want money rolling in.
Well, that's why these ownership groups. If they're getting their returns of 10% a year, or whatever they're earning from whatever professional organization in NBA they're getting, you're looking at they might not want it, as much. So,
Attar did text me.
Yeah, he's just a fucking clown.
Said, I'll get you what to read if you need it. I mean, I forget what we're reading. We haven't done it since beginning of or maybe the end of February. I think he's talking about the like, follow, share on all of the socials. But while I do got you guys, make sure you go on like, follow, share on all the socials: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at the Sports Box. And a great. Are we still crowd play? I don't see crowd play up here today.
I don't know, man. Maybe they made some changes or something like that. But hey, listen, we try to support everything. Now, I think we're still with CrowdPlay. CrowdPlay is a great app. I mean, it's a lot of fun. I've jumped on it a few times, and it's a little challenging at times.
But is that for non-gamblers at their chance to gamble?
Right? Yeah, a little bit. I mean,
you don't have to put money up. You go on and you pick the next to happens, and win money or prizes that way. Correct?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, trying to think, and they do actually video game and stuff. So CrowdPlay is a pretty cool app, and it's it's one of them things where it's an immersion into some of the live stuff that we have going on here.
Gotcha.
Light. We gotta get that light on. There you go.
Well, let there be light.
Gotta love it.
Man, is he behind the scenes today, or is this all you producing?
Who? No, I gotta do everything.
I didn't know if he was. Maybe he's just a proud watcher.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you see me a little distracted, I listen. I really apologize. I do not want to have to produce the show and try to figure out topics with you and go through everything. But
yeah. So we got the comment sections blown up from your boy Mark Scotty from the ongoing argument from the beginning of the season.
Let me pull him up. Here you go.
He said that this was his take in the beginning of the year.
Of what?
Of the Sixers were better of a team last year than they were now.
Listen, I think actually what was said was that what would we rather have? Would we rather have Jimmy Buckets and without Brett Brown, or would you rather have this team? And I said that I would rather have Buckets with a new coach. But if you put Jimmy Butler on this Sixers team now, it just wasn't going to work with him and Brown. It would have been an implosion.
Yeah, so I think he thinks that you were saying back then that you'd rather have this.
Well, that's fine. That's why his name ain't on the scroll, buddy. Appreciate his comment, appreciate his interaction, all love, but one thing or another, I don't know.
Because he will go back and look for these.
If you, yeah, go ahead. Be my guest. But
And you
You know,
prefer Tobias backpedaling, can't admit. I thought
well, listen, if you're going to sit here and pander to this nonsense too,
this
no
felt
one
like
said no one said Jimmy Butler wasn't as good as was Tobias Harris was better than Jimmy Butler. Okay, but I'm going to tell you right now, you put Jimmy Butler with Brett Brown, or put Tobias Harris at Brett Brown, like it's not, it wouldn't have been a good mix. And I think they'd probably be just the place they were if they had Brett Brown, or hopefully maybe Butler would have strangled him like Latrell Sprewell, and he'd be out of there. So I mean, we've both been on record numerous times, like I would rather have a core of Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, and Jimmy Butler without Brett Brown. Absolutely. But that's not a reality. That wasn't a possibility because the Sixers organization has no spine. The ownership chose to keep Brett Brown, and the nice guy that he is, but he's not a good basketball coach.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, moving on from the Sixers, because like Garth said, they're done for, which I truly believe.
Well, I mean, how many? I mean, listen, you seen it. You seen it yesterday.
Maybe not forever. Listen, I think Ben and Bede together are fine. I just don't necessarily think that this is the team to do it. They're going to have to. I do believe that if you keep Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons together and keep rotating in that third piece for them, yeah. If those guys want to stay here in Philly and we can afford to sign them, and then you're just like any other basketball team in the NBA. I mean, you got your two starters. It's not necessarily all going to happen in 1 year. I mean, you got to find somebody to come in that could work with them guys. And I do think those two guys together could win a championship with a third of. I mean, I feel like right now everybody has like that little three. Something.
Yeah, that's threes. Well, it's called the big three for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the Sixers should have did that 2 years ago and tried to acquire Chris Paul when they had the opportunity to. You put it and that way it would have had you would have had your third piece. You would have had somebody who could actually teach these young guys how to play basketball in the NBA, which they sure. Really do not know how to do yet. You know what I'm saying? And then that would give him the veteran presence, because you see what an amazing job he did in Oklahoma City. I mean, all the young guys there are first, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who the Sixers could have had, and still Zaire Smith, and these guys are like if Sixers brought in somebody like that. But to your sure. point, if Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid are on a team and they're relatively healthy for 60 to 70 games, the Sixers are a playoff team with trash cans as the number 3, scorer. To be honest with you, are they a championship team? No, but so as long as you have them two pieces that were a product of the process, that was the key.
Yeah, no, that's what I said. I do think that they will. I think they will win a championship with those two guys. I mean, they're only 3 years really into the league. They don't have a ton of wear and tear because of injuries. But like I said, I don't necessarily – I thought this team – I mean, this team has they're good on paper. Reading the guys, I mean, Richardson coming in. I like Josh Richardson. I mean, I don't think he's your 3.
You know what? Before when we started talking about the Sixers, in the beginning of the year, Josh Richardson seemed like a much better fit. Maybe similar to what Tobias Harris when he came in from LA. With Miami, Josh Richardson shot the ball very well. The Sixers, he did not. Just like Tobias shot the ball very well with the Clippers. He comes to Philly. He did not. Just like when Jimmy Butler was in Philly, Brett Brown had him standing in the corner like he was on timeout for half the game. So there has to, the common denominator of these guys coming to Philly and not succeeding as they were on other teams, in a similar role, is Brett Brown, and it's that offense. It's a stagnant offense.
Even if we fucking have Brett Brown, I can't, like, to the outside, to me, I mean, I'm not a basketball coach, but I sit there, I'm like, all right, they need a fucking guy that can shoot. They need a shooter. You have Embiid, you have Simmons. Embiid can stretch it. Simmons drives, attacks, Embiid can go out. He needs somebody to kick it to.
Well, the problem is
He's a shooter. Tobias Harris isn't your shooter.
Well, before he came to Philadelphia, he was.
Right, but I'm talking a lot. You need a lockdown. Like, all right, put this three together and tell me. I don't care who your other two guys are, but you put Embiid, Simmons, and Klay Thompson on the same team.
Okay.
I'm telling you, they're going to the finals next year.
Yeah, but I think the talent difference between Klay Thompson and the ability is light years better than Tobias Harris.
Oh, I'm not comparing Tobias to people that are.
Well okay. So to your point, though, how would the Sixers
a big three like the Lakers caliber big three or the Clippers caliber Brooklyn?
But okay, so let's look at the reality of the situation. You know, obviously you're 100% right. We would love to get a third superstar in here with a ton of ability. But
all right, so yeah, Klay is a superstar.
But look at the reality of the situation. How would the Sixers do that? Or okay, well, not even how the Sixers do that. Okay, let's look at how the other teams were. Look at how the other teams were built. That the Clippers team was built, and now the LA team was built. Okay, how LeBron and them were built down in Miami. Golden State's a rare bird, but then when they got Kevin Durant, I mean that was their big three too.
Right,
they were built because the players got together and wanted to play together. So right now, Embiid and Simmons, they don't have that. They don't have that relationship with the other players yet. They don't have that star. They don't have that kind of connection, I guess. You know, how many years did it take for Kawhi and Paul George said they wanted to get together for a few years now, and it's just now happening. So like right now, it's the players' league. The coaches in the NBA, you know, if you have a veteran team like the LeBrons and stuff like that aren't as effective, and then you know the players who want to play together, the superstar players, they're the ones controlling it. You know.
No, I agree. Like I said, I don't think Philly is out of the realm of a bad place to come and play basketball. Well, I mean, we already kind of have our superstars, so I'm not saying we're going to get that.
The problem with Philly
up here.
See, and
I don't think that's out of the question. Like, I don't think we're going to be on like the big time free agent market of like the top two guys.
So here's a question for you, Paul. Al Horford was a huge mistake this offseason because I don't know whether it's he can't fit into the offense, he just doesn't like what's going on in the city, or what. He's been a huge mistake, but he was considered a big free agent signing, big money, right? Coming from another organization. The last time that happened, where they signed somebody, a big free agent came here, was Elton Brand. You know. So you're looking at Elton Brand was the last big sign they had many years ago, and that was Kenny. He was on the downside of things. So you would think Philly, big market with Embiid and Simmons, could hopefully draw somebody in here, but I mean, who is that? You know, are we gonna Bradley Beal maybe? But him and John Wall are saying all the right stuff in Washington.
Yeah, they don't seem like they want to.
I got an idea, Paul. You know what? This just hit me. You know, I don't know why I didn't think of this 2 years ago. You know, actually before the draft, when the Sixers were on the clock, is what if they had Michael Porter Jr.? Wow, that would be a perfect fit. Oh wait, but they took fucking Jair Smith. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what if they had Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? That would be a nice fit, combo guard. Oh, How about Jason? Damn, that didn't work. You know what I'm saying? So it's like these teams, these young teams are developing and building for the draft. But here's my favorite comment. Paul. Do you remember Pat Croce, Paul?
No.
Pat Croce was a fun owner. Let's just put it that way. He was everywhere. He was Mr. Philadelphia. He had a lot of energy. He was down the shore everywhere. He was part of the ownership group when Allen Iverson was involved. Great guy, really motivated guy. So it's a shame that you missed him. But listen, if we could bring Pat Croce back, that might spark some stuff. But I don't think they could pay him enough to come back. But Paulie, it's about
Yeah.
that time, but we're gonna watch the second half. What do you think happens in the second half of the Sixers before we head out of here?
I think they continue to lose.
They continue to lose, so let's go. Updated score right now is what? I actually been distracted.
Second half.
Second half, they're down. They're down. What are they down? 8. Down 8 at halftime. All right. I think they could come back. What do you like for tonight's game? Any bets on tonight's game you got as far as the Clippers and Mavs before we get out of here?
Second half of what game? Clippers.
Clippers and Mavs. Only one game left tonight.
We got Clippers minus 5.5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna run with the Clippers.
Clip joint. Yeah, I like it. I think they come out separate, but it's
5 is weird. It's another tight game.
it opened at 6 too. Porzingis is going to definitely play though, so see how effective it is. I think the key to that game too is going to be Seth Curry and Tim Hardaway Jr. really hitting their open shots. If they could hit their open shots and score with the Clippers, because they're bringing some tough D. And I think
And also,
I'm not sure if Montrezl Harrell is back tonight. I thought I heard he might be, or maybe
I
next
like Tim Hardaway Jr. to hit the first shot of that game too. Chalk that up. Plus
What we
900.
got on the odds?
Plus 900.
All right, let's do it.
I mean, you don't gotta go crazy with that. $20 brings back 180 for you.
That's perfect. That's a C bet on a.
I mean, it's in and out. First bucket of the game. But guys, we will appreciate everybody watching. I got a date at a Not a Wine Bar with a couple dudes.
We don't judge here on the baseline jumpers. You know what I'm saying? We don't judge. That's why you had the pink shirt on.
We had reservations for 7:30. So
I'm upset I didn't get the invite. I thought you were buying.
No, I am not, unfortunately. Yeah, 7:30 reservations. Had to do the show. Can't cancel. Middle of the playoffs.
I had a much better invitation than you tonight. I guarantee it.
I mean, probably. But we're gonna go see a nice. I think it was said it was a Frank Sinatra kind of cover guy, solo. But by the time I get there, it'll probably be done. No comment means thank you for no commenting. We will be back next Wednesday?
Wednesday?
Next Wednesday. Are any of the series going to be done by then?
I'm not sure. Which series are you talking about, Beth? Sixers?
Sixers got 2 more. Yeah, there might be a couple. Or all the series going to be done by next Wednesday?
No, I don't think so. Let me pull it up real quick. I'm going to see the schedule.
Pretty close to it. We're going into game 2. So you got 3, 4.
Let's see if I can pull up the schedule right here. Let's see. You got no game. Yeah, it goes to next week. I mean, this series, game 2 is tonight. Game 3 is Friday. Game 4 is Sunday. Game 5 is Tuesday. So hopefully, I mean,
all right, that makes the question a little bit better. Are any series you see going to be done by next week that we got? Because I do. 8-10 Hopewell.
8-10 Hopewell. Well, we got going on 8-10 Hopewell. Let's get it.
They're shooting.
A lot of love for a lot of these guys, man. Don't tell me
they're shooting bows. Bow season September 12th.
Nice.
Know where that's at.
Not at all.
Yeah, I do think we will be watching our last Sixers game live on the show tonight. Series will be 4-1, and that'll be game 5. It'll wrap up Tuesday. Give us a lot to talk about Wednesday. Not arrows. All right, Ladder, go back to bed. He's got to stop drinking by 9 anyway. Got to get up early for work. But I will. We'll be back next Wednesday. Maybe I'll learn how to produce so we don't have to
work on that. It could be a group effort, but I'll see.
But, we'll get it all wrapped up. Other than that, guys, I think we are done for the night.
All right, let's go. Let's get
Take
6 out. Take care, bro.
Later, guys.
Thank you for watching the Sports Box. Follow us on Facebook at Sports Box Show, Twitter at Sports Box Show, Instagram at The Sports Box Show. Find us on YouTube and join Outside the Box, our Facebook sports discussion group. The Sports Box is brought to you by our friends at CrowdPlay. Download the free CrowdPlay app today and use promo code THEBOX at sign up for 10 points. See you next time.